Hardees is hiring. Join the STAR team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing.
Welcome into The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I hope everybody out there is having a good day. It's a beautiful, warm, humid day outside. I guess you could say that pretty much every day in the month of July and August. It's going to be hot and humid with a chance of pop-up showers. You could just put that on a loop and it'd be accurate pretty much every day when you talk about the weather. But it is a steamer outside. But hope everyone out there is having a good day. We've got a lot of stuff we're going to get into. We are going to talk a lot of college football today. You got ACC football media days going on in Charlotte. You got the Big Ten football media days going on in Las Vegas. And you've got the Atlanta Braves playing the San Francisco Giants. The Braves yesterday, after we left, they got skunked 9-0 by the Giants, and then they played already again today. And again, they absolutely get just boat race, man. A 9-3 loss. Listen, I don't know if the Braves have it in them to even get to 500, much less make postseason. I think there's as good a chance of them losing 100 games as it is getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating because like they show you that hope, and it's normally game one, at least lately. Yeah. Game one, they find a way to win in the series, and then they decide to just fall off an absolute cliff for the next 2 days. And I don't really get it, man. I don't understand where the run production goes. I don't really, because really, like, ultimately, yes, they gave up 9 runs. I think that's, you've got to be able to hold teams to 4 or 5, but it's not like we're putting up runs either. You get up, 9-0, 9-3. The only thing that is fun to watch is Acuna's bullet of an arm throwing people out. Like, that play at second was awesome.
Yeah, and that was last night. He didn't even play today. They held him out, but Ronald Acuna Jr. is really the lone bright spot for this team. I mean, Spencer Strider now is 4-8. He has an ERA of 3.72 after giving up 3 earned runs in 5 innings. By the way, Justin Verlander, who won his first game of the year today, he was 0-8 coming to this season, coming to this game. But he gets the win, and it's so funny because, like, the first inning, they load the bases against him. But the Braves, of course, they didn't score. He only gave up 1 hit, but he gave up. He did walk 5 guys, but he was able to keep the Braves off the board. But they did an amazing job of putting guys on. They just could not get that clutch hit. And that's the thing with this team is that I guess if you're a Braves fan, and I know you've been watching them for most of your life, clutch hitting has always been one of those things. The Braves just have it, and most teams don't have it, but the Braves do. But, man, they don't have it for most of the time this year. Occasionally you'll see a clutch 2-out hit or whatever. But these days when there's 2 outs, you always feel like that they're going to either strike out or hit a routine fly ball or something. They're just not a clutch hitting team this year.
Yeah, the left on base, I bet if we went and looked that up, it would be astronomical. And, I think to my time as a baseball coach, when we've not been successful, it's because we've left a lot of runners on base. Mm-hmm. Normally with the turf we've got over there at Lee, like we're pretty defensively sound. It's not being able to drive in runs and leaving runs on base, and that's what the Braves have done all year long.
And it's frustrating because it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's like the whole team. It's like if there's no one on base, oh yeah, we'll get a double.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, like let's be real. Even Acuna, like it seems like he only hits solo home runs.
I know.
Like it's like our run production. I mean, there's times, but especially when he's hitting there at the leadoff position. Who in that back half of the order is going to be on base? Maybe a Drake Baldwin, but I'm pretty sure they've moved him up in the lineup. When you've got Michael Harris and Nick Allen and those guys like tail ending you, you're not. I mean, I'm talking about a season, a full season. I know some of these guys have. They're trying everything that they can, but still, man, it's rough.
They're sitting here now at 44 and 57. I just honestly, I think the postseason is out of reach. I don't think they can make the postseason because they've not shown that they can get hot, and they would have to get hot for a good month. I mean, have an amazing month just to get back in.
If they won every series, could they do it? Like
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is playing 667 baseball. Yesterday, you'd have to win 73% of your games to get to 90. So even when 2 out of 3, the percentage is still, you're going to end up with like 86, 87 wins. I think you got to get to 90.
You hit me with a stat yesterday that we didn't get to talk about, but share to the listeners. The only people, I can't remember the stat. You were talking about the 70.
Oh yeah, the only team after 100 games that had lost 56 games. They were 44 and 56. Of course, the Braves were yesterday after the 100th game. The only team to make the playoffs with that many losses after 100 games were the 1973 New York Mets. The Mets went on. They upset the Reds in the NLCS. They got beat by the Oakland Athletics in the World Series. But that's the only time.
So what I'm hearing from you, Jim, you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance, man. I'm saying there's a chance. You've got Dumb and Dumber sitting here doing this show. So, yeah. No, but the way the Braves are playing, listen, that Mets team, and I think I'd have to look it up, but you look at the 1973 Mets, I think they won the division by like a 1 game, and their record was like, I think they won like 85 games. They won the National League Eastern Division by winning like 85 or 86 games, something like that. I guess we could look that up, I guess, here in a little bit. And they just got hot at the right time.
Yeah. Has it been since 2016 that we feel like we're packing up early with the Braves?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Has it been since the 16 season where they went on and I believe they lost in the NLCS championship game to the Dodgers?
All these years start to run together.
I think it's 2016. If you're an avid Braves fan and you know the answer and want to give a comment on how the Braves are doing, call in and we'll hear your sorrows. This is a safe place.
Yeah, 423-749-1013. That's 749-1013. Call us up if you got an opinion about what's going on in Atlanta. Obviously, I think Snicker, this is it for him. I don't know who the manager's going to end up being. I don't know if they'll hire someone from within the the Braves organization, or if they'll go outside. They got to do something different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be either someone within the organization or someone that mirrors what that's like
the
with
Braves
any job.
way, the Dodgers way,
yeah.
the Yankees way. There's certain organizations that have that thing that goes on with them. Hey, this is the way we do things here.
Yeah, and
we don't do it like that. We do it like this.
The Braves are one of those teams. They have a way about doing business, and you think about the Yankees, you think about the Boston Red Sox,
the Dodgers,
the Cubs,
the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Cardinals have that.
So I think it's going to be either someone from the organization or someone who's a spitting image of what they want in that. It's not just going to be a name that you can go pluck from a list. Like we may be shocked and think, I don't really know how I feel about this, but they feel more comfortable with the person they're bringing in than necessarily what they've done.
Listen, it could be worse. You could be a Rockies fan.
Yeah, you could be.
I mean, 25 and 76. I mean, think about it. Just if 6 more losses and they're guaranteed to have a losing
And here's
season.
the thing, I know all these guys are good enough to play in the professional leagues. Like they went out and did their throughout their careers, did the things they needed to do. But sometimes you look out there and you're like, man, that's like a little league team out there trying to do some stuff. Isn't
it amazing? You never see. I mean, we saw the Chicago White Sox were just embarrassingly bad last year. We see the Rockies that just horrendous. But you never see teams like the Yankees or Dodgers ever that bad.
I didn't ever think that we would see another. No, okay, that's not true. I didn't think we would see another team be this bad so soon since the White Sox.
I mean, the White Sox. Let's see. I'm going to look it up real quick
because it was bad. I mean,
the White Sox last year. I'm going to get it up here. They were 41 and 121. 41. They lost 121 games.
Yeesh.
And you got the White Sox. They look like world beaters compared to the now. Granted, the Rockies have actually been playing better in the latter part of the season than the first part of the season. Because right now the Rockies are just barely on par to. I think they're on par to lose 120 games, where the White Sox lost 121. So they have improved their playing ability a little bit, but still, I can't imagine. It's kind of like being a football fan of Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Vanderbilt had that big win over Alabama last year, and Alabama. I mean, and Vanderbilt had a good. They've had a good little run under James Franklin when he was there. But more often than not, Vanderbilt's going to bring up the bottom of the SEC or near the bottom. Not going to make the postseason. It's tough. Yeah. I honestly, I admire fans of programs that aren't. When you can't say they're bandwagoners, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're rooting for a team like Vandy, and I'll even say this: until a couple years ago, a Georgia Tech, like if you're sticking with some of those like state schools that are not the most popular in the state, and it's the same with some of these ML. Like if you're an Oakland A's fan or Sacramento A's,
oh man,
or
how tough is
that must be so, especially when they're not willing to like spend.
Right.
Like a Miami Marlins fan, I couldn't imagine.
It was so funny. I was a fan of a team that relocated back in the early 70s. I was a Cincinnati Royals fan. That was an NBA team. They moved to Kansas City in 1973. And I was like, because Oscar Robertson played for him for a while, but Nate Archibald was their star player at that time. And I used to really, pay attention to the NBA and the Cincinnati Royals. And when they relocated, that was a gut punch. And I was only like 11 years old, 11 or 12, something like that. So, I mean, I was a decent fan. I wasn't like all in, but I've got a friend of mine, my next door neighbor, in fact, St. Louis. All through. He was a big Cardinals fan. In fact, he met his wife at a Cardinals game. He loved the St. Louis Cardinals. They went to Arizona. Then he started loving the St. Louis Rams. He's been hit in the gut twice. I can't imagine how hard that is.
I know we're getting a little off track from the Braves, but is there a fan base, or is there a town that's been hurt more than St. Louis?
Oakland,
yeah, I agree.
Oakland, listen. The Warriors are still in the Bay Area, but they're not in Oakland anymore. They went across the bay in San Francisco.
Yeah, and
they've lost the Oakland Raiders not once but twice. They lost them to Los Angeles, got them back, lost them to Las Vegas, and now they are losing the Oakland A's. And it all comes back to one thing: they refuse to put money into new facilities. And here's the thing: if you don't, they'll up and now it's not like college. College, the University of Tennessee football team, I don't care if they don't put any more money into Neyland Stadium. They're not packing up and moving. A college has got that team forever. But at the professional level, a lot of these teams will hold a city hostage.
Yeah.
They'll say, you either do this or we're going to relocate. And that's what's happened to Oakland. That's what happened to St. Louis. St. Louis, they actually had a nice facility. But then Los Angeles said, hey, we're going to build SoFi Stadium. Come on back. That's what not only they got St. Louis, they got San Diego. So the Rams and the Chargers both relocated to Los Angeles. Now they're playing there. They're sharing a stadium, SoFi Stadium, which is probably the nicest facility in the entire country.
Yeah, I hate that they built a home stadium for the Raiders. It's like a second home to us out there at SoFi.
Los Angeles is a Raider city.
It is.
I mean, that city. Listen, I went out there in 1994. Went out there for the Tennessee UCLA game. Flew out there with some friends of mine, and I couldn't believe all the Raiders gear being worn by people out there. You would have thought you were in freaking Oakland.
Yeah, NWA was a big part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, though.
I know.
Like,
have you ever seen that 30 for 30?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight out of Compton. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Straight out of Compton. That's a good one, man. But, no, the Raiders, they owned that city. When the Rams left the Coliseum. They went and played at Anaheim Stadium. You know, Al Davis moved the Raiders from Oakland into the Los Angeles Coliseum, and that city. And of course, they won a Super Bowl. The first year or second year they were there, and that city just adopted them. And to this day, all these years after they've relocated to Oakland and now to Las Vegas, there's still a huge, I guess, percentage of fans there. They're Raiders fans all the way.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot of college football. We got football media days going on. We're going to talk Indiana Hoosiers football. I can't wait to get some opinions about what's going on with the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers. Hey, listen, you're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll be back after this.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
When you're craving serious burger goodness, head to Hardees for the all-new barbecued pulled pork Frisco burger. A charbroiled, quarter-pound, 100% Angus beef patty, topped with 16 hours slow-smoked barbecued pulled pork on toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardees. Get a free pulled pork Frisco burger when you download the app and join My Rewards. See app for terms.
Hip or knee pain holding you back? There's a new reason to feel hopeful. Dr. Andrew Carlone is now part of the team at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Cleveland. He brings advanced training in total hip and knee replacement, including minimally invasive techniques that get you back on your feet faster. Let Cleveland's orthopedic experts help you live your best life. Call 423-624-2696 or go to sportmed.com to book your visit now.
Don Ledford Chevrolet's summer upgrade sales event is going on now to the end of July. You'll get tremendous discounts and factory rebates on their entire inventory of Chevrolet pickups and SUVs. Listen to these two great purchase deals. Find stock number 26002, a 2026 Chevrolet Equinox 1LT SUV model with an MSRP of $34,335 for just $28,175. That's over $2,000 in savings on a new 2026 model. Take home stock number 25005. A 2025 Silverado 1500 LT 4x4 crew cab with the All-Star and C71 packages that has an MSRP of $63,720 for only $52,355. That's over $11,300 in savings, or 18% off on a truck that you don't want to miss. Special leasing options available as well. Come in today and save big. Don Ledford Chevrolet, Northley Highway, Cleveland. DonLedford.com for details and a trade assistance coupon. Don Ledford Chevrolet, where they say yes. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Wholesale prices include qualifying rebates, plus tax, tag, and title, and dealer fee of $649. Must take delivery by July 31st, 2025.
You work hard, you take care of your family, you handle business, but when's the last time you took care of yourself? At Magnolia Dental Center of Cleveland, we get it. You don't need pampering. You need honest, high-quality dental care that fits your life. No lectures, no pressure. Just a team that respects your time and gets the job done right. So don't wait until it hurts. Call Magnolia Dental Center today. Take care of your smile like you take care of everything else. Call 423-476-3307 or visit MagnoliaDentalCenterofCleveland.com to schedule an appointment today.
Check your wallet. Empty? Check your bills. Overdue? Check your stress level. Maxed? Now, check into cash. Check into Cash is your one-stop money shop, and we've got everything you need. Payday loans and flex lines of credit options? Check. Quick in-store services like money orders and wire transfers? Check. Turn your unused gift cards into cash? Oh yeah, check. And yes, we cash checks. All kinds. Fast. Check that off your list. Visit checkintocash.com or check into a store to get started. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. We have locations in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Check in, cash out, and get on with life. Check into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit a store for details. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Hey, for over 100 years, Mayfield Dairy has been delivering farm-fresh dairy beloved by Southern families. In 1983, Mayfield introduced its iconic yellow jug. The new opaque jug helped block harmful light rays, protecting the flavor and nutrients in the milk. Learn more about Mayfield today at mayfielddairy.com. And before we get into football, I did want to do this. The Speedway Classic between the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds.
Should use them tonight. They put on a performance.
Oh, Lord. Anytime we talk about the Speedway Classic, we're going to get that sound bite. But anyway, so right now, 84,000 seats have been sold. The Major League Baseball attendance record is 115,300 set by the Dodgers and Red Sox back in 2008 at the L.A. Memorial Coliseum. I'm hoping like crazy that the Reds and Braves can find a way to break that record. I think that would be the coolest thing. Now, let's change gears. Yesterday, Curt Cignetti, the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, and first off, it's incredible we're actually talking about the Indiana Hoosiers in the month of July.
Yeah,
because they've been irrelevant for about a century.
He's doing a good job at keeping them in the talking scene, but I'll be honest, like my head was about to pop off.
So he was asked yesterday, if you remember a week or so ago, Indiana announced that they were they're buying themselves out of the Virginia series. Now, Virginia is a nice program in the ACC, but I mean, today I would think Indiana is as good, if not a better program than Virginia. But Indiana is trying to make sure they get nothing but cupcakes in a non-conference. They're not going to play any power teams. They're going to try to play very, very winnable games, get those 3 wins under the belt. So at that point, all they got to do is go 3-6 in the Big Ten, and voila, hello, you're bowl eligible. It's very reminiscent of what Bill Snyder did at Kansas State. When they hired him back in the early 80s, Kansas State was arguably the worst program in all of college football. They had the lowest winning percentage of any school that was playing at the time 1A football. What did he do? He did the same thing. He refused to play any quality opponents. Back then they were playing 8 conference games. He played 4 cream puffs every year. He was literally 4-0 before he had to play anyone that had a pulse. All they had to do was go 2-6 in the Big 12, and they're bowl eligible. Now, they got really good. They got some really good players there, but he continued that. When he was the head coach at Kansas State, they didn't play anybody in the non-conference. He said, listen, we got a tough league. I don't want to have to, challenge our guys any more than I have to. So that was his philosophy, and some coaches do that, some coaches don't. Obviously, Curt Cignetti buys into that theory, but he used the term he's scheduling like the SEC does, and that's the part that drove you crazy, correct?
Yes, it drives me nuts. Like last year was a perfect storm for him. He didn't have to really play anybody in the Big Ten. The one time he did, they got their absolute socks knocked off of them by Ohio State. Mm-hmm. So last year, and I give him credit, Indiana doing what they did last year is like a Vandy marching through a conference.
It's like Vanderbilt or Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's like Vanderbilt or Kentucky going 11-1.
But the audacity to say that they schedule like the SEC, that just blows my mind. Like especially as a Georgia fan, I'm sitting here and I know what games we have in the future, and I know what Alabama has in the future, and I know that there's multiple teams that have gone out there and scheduled, and really like when the college football playoffs is looking at this stuff, I want them to have a memory of games canceled like Virginia. Like if you are looking to make your schedule easier and you're canceling games that you have scheduled because you want an easier path, I think that sets the wrong precedence.
I do too. And here's something I wish the college football selection committee would do, but they don't do this. Jacob, they look at the overall won-loss record and they say what their schedule look like. I think, for example, Texas and Ohio State playing week 1. Obviously, somebody's going to lose that game.
Yeah.
That should not be held against them because they take the initiative to schedule a really good quality game. So the loser of that game, it should not be held against them. If they finish at 9-3, the loser of that game, let's say they finish at 9-3, and they lose out on going to the playoffs to a 10-2 team who didn't play anybody like that. To me, that's just wrong. You ought to get a check mark just for playing the darn game.
I agree that it should look good on your. But if you get if you get blown out,
that's one. If it's a close game, I'm talking about.
Yeah, if it's a close game, like it shouldn't hurt you. I completely agree because you look at let's look at Alabama's future schedule. They're going to play Oklahoma State, Arizona, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, West Virginia, Florida State, Boston College, and Maryland. Georgia's non-conference coming up between 2026 and 2034. They've got North Carolina State, Clemson, Florida State, Ohio State, Georgia Tech, and Louisville. You go over to South Carolina. They're going to play North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Clemson, Miami. You go over to Florida. They're going to play Notre Dame, Miami, Florida State, Colorado, Arizona State, and UCF. You look at Texas. They're going to play Notre Dame, Ohio State, and I can't see that one. So, and then you look at Indiana.
Oh, it's zero. They're dropping everybody, man. They're not. They're going by the Bill Snyder philosophy of nothing but cream puffs in the non-conference, and I believe this. Okay, Indiana knows what happened last year was an aberration. We know the odds of them getting the playoffs again anytime soon are very, very slim. Okay, their big goal is just to get bowl eligible.
Yeah,
we understand it, but if they do have another run and they have a really successful season and they're in the running, that should be held against them for not scheduling anybody. I believe that. But the selection committee, for whatever reason, they don't do that.
Yeah. And when we had Rich Clark on, he said win the games that you're supposed to win. And if you're sitting there at the end of the season, then whatever. And so last year, to me, because of how their schedule worked out, they really didn't have to play anybody. Nobody big in the Big Ten is kind of what I'm getting at.
I'll grant you this: that they did play Michigan and Washington, and now it wasn't Indiana's fault that both teams had down seasons last year. And to me, I can't hold that against them.
No.
But a lot of people did.
And they were spenders. Like, they went out and they got people in the portal.
And they did again this year, too.
They did what they were supposed to do. But to sit up there at a mic and to say that you're scheduling like the SEC schedules.
Yeah, that was a dig for no. There was no positive. There was no reason to do it.
No, it's because he wants us to be talking like we are today. Hey, good job. Now, let's give him a round of applause.
Have we ever talked about Indiana?
Except
on a Thursday or on a Wednesday in July?
No. Only when they're relevant, which was literally only last year. So I again.
So and there again, and I think Indiana, and I think they understand who they are. And that would be like if say Kentucky dropped Louisville. We're not going to play Louisville no more. We're going to play nothing but Mid-American schools and Sunbelt schools. Okay, Kentucky, that's 4 wins. You got 4 wins. Now all Kentucky's got to do is go 2-6 in the SEC, and hello, we're 6-6. We're bowl eligible. But if that one magical season were to happen to Kentucky, like what happened to Indiana last year, and Kentucky goes 7-1, 6-2 at worst, they're sitting there at 10-2. Now is when you can critique the Kentucky non-conference. Go, no, that's not worthy to be considered. You've got to do better than 10-2. That's not worthy. And that's what's going on with Indiana. It should be held against them. You should always be held against you when you openly do what they're doing. Dropping an ACC. We're talking about a mediocre ACC team. We're not talking about Clemson or Florida State. We're talking about the University of Virginia.
Yeah, and like we've talked about whether the SEC should go to an 8-team schedule or a 9-team schedule because we want to see good games. And so when you're actively deleting them, when you're actively going out there and when you have to play a P4 school and you're saying, no, I don't want to do that, like that just really frustrates me. Like it's to me, they should be held accountable. And the problem is they cancel them years out in advance, and everybody forgets about it.
And they got to pay $500,000 to buy this game out, by the way.
Well, I mean, to them, it's worth it, though, because if you somehow make it to the college football playoffs, you get a pretty good little check written.
Nice little healthy paycheck. All right, something else that came out today, and this is something I have to agree. I agree with this. Last year, we had 4 teams that made the playoffs that got buys. What were their records in their 4 games when they played the teams that advanced? In
Either
the
1-3 or 0-4. Yeah.
0-4. Georgia lost their only game. You had Oregon lost their only game. All the teams that got the byes, they went 0-4. Okay, and Dan Lanning said, "Why is it that college football does their playoffs different than every other sport? So, like March Madness, you play the SEC tournament championship on that Sunday. Well, the NCAA tournament starts on Thursday. You got 4 days in between to get ready to play your opponent, 4 or 5, depending if you're on a Friday. But college football, Oregon had 25 days to sit there.
Yeah.
Georgia also 25 days to sit there and wait and wait and wait. I get maybe having a week off and play it in 14 days. But 25 days, that's too long.
Give me 1 week for the teams that don't get the bye. Give me 2 weeks for the teams that do. Give me 14 days, just like you would have like on a bye week after a game. Like when Georgia has a bye or when Tennessee has a bye before in Alabama, they get 14 days to get ready for that team. Give me that. I'm with you on this because to me, it's kind of like it's the same thing in the MLB. You look at these teams that get the bye and they've sat too long. Mm-hmm. The juices aren't flowing. Yep. The chemistry's not there. It just, to me, if you sit too long, and we saw it last year, it doesn't. And I'm with Dan Lanning on this. Why do you need 25 days?
That's ridiculous. And the teams you're playing didn't have that long, so they're not as rusty. They just played a week and a half earlier. You know, of course, college football has this thing where they're scared to death. The NFL, they're playing all these playoff games on Wednesdays and Thursdays and stuff like that. I'm saying college football, you need to stick with Saturday. And if the NFL is playing regular season games on Saturday, then so be it.
Who cares?
Listen, give us options. We like options. If you want to watch the NFL, knock yourself out. I'm going to be switching to the college football playoff games. That's where my eyeballs are going to be. But college football doesn't like to go up against the NFL because 9 out of 10 times the NFL will outdraw on television. So be it. So be it.
Yeah.
But I like stick to Saturdays, get these playoff games. Dan Lanning says he thinks the national championship game should be played on New Year's Day.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand why. I mean, I understand from the media standpoint why they do it, but a Monday national championship game, so you're telling me we play games all year long. You might get maybe one Monday game.
That's usually on Labor Day.
On Labor Day weekend, and that's it.
That's it.
But we decide to play the most important game of the year on a Monday where everybody just got back from work, and they're going to sit there and they're going to keep themselves up until 11:30 at night to see who won, and then go to work the next day. Give me college football is Saturday.
Yep,
Waking up on a is there a better feeling than waking up on the first Saturday of fall where you start your pregame rituals, you go out and you get the certain thing that you want to wear, you make whatever dips and whatever foods you're going to eat that day, and you sit and you stare at the screen from 9 in the morning until 1 a.m. at night, and you wake up
Pac-12 after dark.
And you wake up Sunday and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing ever, and I get to do it again next Saturday. You don't feel that way about a Monday.
It's so funny, and some people were like, oh, well, it's 11 o'clock, I got to go to bed. I can be sleep deprived for a day.
Yeah.
I'll get up and go to church, but guess what I'll do? I'll come home from church, I'll take me a nap.
Yeah.
And I'm good. I'm good on Monday. My body has recovered. I'm like you. I do the same thing. I get up, and I usually get my honey-do list done. It's because I want to make sure I've got everything done by the time 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because I'm plopping down and I'm kicking my feet up and I've got remote control and I am too.
I'm absolutely. And here's the thing: if you going back to the ratings, if you want to watch the NFL so bad, do like I do. Have 2 TVs in your living room,
or you get the split screen option most of the time.
I have any given Saturday, I have 8 games rolling. 8. I have 8 of them. And so what I do is I have YouTube TV, and it allows me to have multiple viewers on at one time.
Yep.
The big TV, which is the 65-inch, normally if it's got Georgia on it, that's the one that's playing. And up there on top of the mantle, there's my frame TV that I've got. And that started out as like when my kid was a toddler, we wanted to be able to watch a show, and we were eventually going to move it into the bedroom. And I looked at my wife and I said, I get to watch literally everything all at once. So if you want to watch the NFL so bad on a Saturday during the college football playoffs, get you another screen. Go get a little one. Get you a YouTube TV subscription. You can watch whatever you want to. But if I'm college football, I finally get my head out of the sand and stop being afraid of the NFL. And I say, we're playing on Saturdays. You can deal with it. If it cuts into your ratings, if that's what you're worried about, then don't play on Saturdays, because Saturday is our day. It always has been. It always will be.
And what kills me, you'll hear these media members, they'll say, oh, you can't go against the NFL. I'm like, well, why not? Why can't you? You can go against the NFL. Your ratings will take a hit, but you know what? You'll eat into their ratings too.
Well, and
you will eat into the ratings
for sure, especially if there's a team down south playing. Because I mean, honestly, like I will watch the NFL. I enjoy watching the NFL. I've got fantasy points on the line. I've got a punishment that's waiting for me if I finish last. Right? I've got all of those things, but it will dig into their ratings, and they already play on Sunday. They already play on Monday. They already play on Thursday. Yep. Why do they need Saturday?
I mean, the NFL remember when college football was so big on Thursdays? Not anymore.
Yeah.
The NFL rules Thursday now.
Right.
You don't get any quality games on Thursday.
And so if I'm college football, I look at them and say, you've got 3 other days in the week that if you want to play this game, by all means, go play it. Now, I understand that you're in the playoffs too, but play your games on Sunday.
Granted, the college football abandoned those Saturdays have been open for 50, 60 years, because college football, they didn't play anything until New Year's Day anyway. So they left December was wide open for the NFL. So the NFL's like, hey, we got all these open Saturdays. Let's go and play some games on Saturday. Well, now college football is they need to reclaim Saturday in December. And maybe the NFL would accommodate maybe a little bit. Probably not, but I think they should go head-to-head against the NFL. I do.
Do it.
Let's go ahead and take a break. Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue to talk a little bit about what's going on. I want to talk a little bit about the SEC and the Big Ten and how those conferences do not see eye to eye on anything. You're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll be back after this.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardees morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardees smoked sausage biscuit, split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardees, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Hip or knee pain holding you back? There's a new reason to feel hopeful. Dr. Andrew Carlone is now part of the team at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Cleveland. He brings advanced training in total hip and knee replacement, including minimally invasive techniques that get you back on your feet faster. Let Cleveland's orthopedic experts help you live your best life. Call 423-624-2696 or go to sportmed.com to book your visit now.
Don Ledford GMC's summer upgrade sales event going on now through the end of July. You'll get tremendous discounts and factory rebates on their entire inventory of GMC professional grade pickups and SUVs. Listen to this fantastic deal. Get 20% off and savings on stock number 250586. A 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation Series 4-wheel drive that has an MSRP of $58,825 for just $46,998. 20% off, a savings of $11,800. Now that's a great deal on a great truck. And there are special leasing options as well. Don Ledford GMC, North Lee Highway, Cleveland, or donledford.com for details and a trade assistance coupon. Don Ledford GMC, where they say yes. GMC, we are professional grade. Stock number 250586. Price includes all qualifying rebates and is plus tax, tag, and title and dealer fee of $649. Must take delivery by July 31st, 2025. Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. North Lee Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center, where the name says it all.
For a quarter of a century, Mix 104.1 has been taking you out to the ball game.
Swanson to first. The Browns are world champions.
Since 2000, Mix 104.1 has been the home of the Atlanta Braves, and we're celebrating by giving away tickets to Atlanta Braves games all summer long. Listen for your chance to call or text to qualify. You can also register at the Mix socials on Facebook and Instagram. Braves 25 is presented by Cleveland Ford. Honest people, honest deals.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
It's $1.50 Wing and Whiskey Wednesday at Aubrey's Cleveland.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one: medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. So we left. I was talking to you about the Big Ten and the SEC, and it's so funny how nobody seems to agree with anything. The SEC and Big Ten, they remind me of so many opposite things out there, and I had way too much time on my hands. I came up with some really good ones, like Republicans and Democrats. They don't agree on anything. Cats and dogs, up and down, cheap and expensive, early and late, easy and difficult, happy and sad, here and there, hot and cold. That's the SEC and Big Ten. They don't agree on anything, and I don't think it was always like that. But it seemed like over the last few years, they seem to have a different vision for the way that college football, and they really agree on most other things except for college football, and mostly has to do with the postseason. And listen, I like the fact of having a playoff system with 12 teams minimum. I was never a fan of 4 because you had 5 power conference teams. You had the Big Ten, SEC, you had the ACC, the Big 12, and you had the Pac-12. When you had 4 playoff teams and 5 power conferences, something was never going to work out there. There was always going to be somebody left out, and I always thought that was poor planning. Now that you got 12, we know that every conference is going to have a representative, which they deserve. Every conference deserves to have a representative. Now, how many you want to do? Are you a fan of 12 or 16? If it was up to you, what would your perfect number be?
If it was up to me, it'd be 10. And
well, if it me, it would be 8.
So if it were me, it'd be 10. And 9, 10, 11, and 12 would play a play-in game. We talk about the top 10 all year long. Who's in the top 10? Who are the top 10 teams and best teams in the country? If the top 10 is so important, why don't we narrow it down to 10 and make it happen that way? So to me, though, at this point in time, I'm okay with the 16. Like, to me, you get more football. You're never going to hear me argue against more football. So give me 16 and give me the 5+11 model.
Well, here's me. I don't like teams getting buys in any bracket. I hate them. I despise buys. I don't think anyone is deserving. I don't think the team with the best team in the NFL deserves a bye. I don't think the number 1 ranked team in college football deserves a bye. To me, once you reach the postseason, everyone plays the same number of games. That's why I like either 8 or 16, because when you got 10, you got some teams getting buys. When you got 12, you got 4 teams getting buys. I don't like buys in a bracketed tournament. Never have. That's why when the NCAA tournament went from 64 to 68, it drove me crazy because those, what they call the first four, they're playing games.
Yeah.
They don't even feel like they're really part of the tournament to me.
Yeah.
Even though they are, they actually get in the record book. Oh, they got to win in the NCAA tournament. Okay, it was in Dayton, Ohio, man. It wasn't real. It doesn't feel real.
I don't watch them. I mean, let's be honest. I wait until their name pops in on the bracket, and then I normally don't pick them anyways.
Yeah.
So,
well, they usually are either a number 16 seed or number 11 seed. We understand why it's done. But I don't like buys, so my perfect number would have been 8 because I think 16 is maybe just a little bit too big. But 12, I thought it worked okay. I didn't like the way they did the buys. I think now they're going to do this straight seeding, which they should have done last year. Last year, if you won your conference, if you were a certain conference member, you got the buy. I mean, for crying out loud, Boise State got a buy.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if I agree that no one deserves a buy, but if you have to have a world where someone does deserve a bye,
should be straight seeding.
It should be straight seeding. It shouldn't.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be a Boise State. It shouldn't be a Clemson. You know, like they scratched
Clemson from last year.
Yeah,
Clemson from the 2019. Absolutely,
right. But I'm talking about Clemson last year.
Yeah, right.
If you're talking about a team that didn't deserve a bye, they're among that list. There were other teams that, in my opinion, deserve to. You know, they quote unquote earned the right. I'm kind of with you in the sense of I would rather, like, we've watched it happen in a league under, D1, them do a 16-team playoff forever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been successful.
I mean,
and it's run well.
The FCS, they've got 28 teams in it last year. They've expanded it. They were at 16 for a while. They expanded up to 24. I think they're at 28 or 30 now.
That's a little too much for me.
It is.
But the 16, they did it for such a long time, and it was successful.
They've expanded it beyond that, though.
And so I'm okay with 16 if one plays 16, two plays 15,
right? Exactly.
It's
true seeding.
Because here's the thing. Let's be honest. You're going to find some of these. Like, could you imagine the 3 seed having to play South Carolina where they were at last year, being in that 14-15? Could you imagine a team having to play Ole Miss?
That Ole Miss would have scared me more than South Carolina.
Right, but I'm saying those are those teams that fell into 14, 15, and 16.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So if those are not easy games. Those are not games that you're just going to walk onto a field and win necessarily. I mean, if you're the number 1 team in the nation, you should clear up 16.
But you're capable of getting upset.
Yeah.
And also, I love the fact that those games are being played on campus. I personally would like to see the first 2 rounds played on campus. Then after that, if you need to go to neutral sites, bowl sites, or whatever, I guess you could do that. But to me, I think you should reward the teams that had the best regular seasons by playing home games. Give that fan base a break. It's not like your tickets are free, but at least they don't have to travel 2,000 miles to play their first game. They get to stay at home. The team gets to stay in their own bed. You should be rewarded with home field advantage. It's kind of like the NFL. NFL playoffs, the home team gets to play at their home stadium. The only time they play a neutral site game is the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I would love to see if for some reason everybody adopted the 9-game schedule. I get the point of why the ACC wouldn't want to adopt it, or the big players in the ACC, because it allows Clemson to go out and schedule a Georgia. It allows a Florida State to go out and schedule an Alabama and LSU and some of those teams that they have. But if we did go to it, if everybody was uniformed across the board, we went to 9, I would love to see a rotating Big Ten matchup, how they do with basketball.
Like a challenge.
And so this year, Georgia won the SEC. They face the
Ohio. No, they'd play Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon was the Big Ten champion.
You play Oregon, and then you look at Texas. You play Ohio State.
However it works out.
Yeah. So you have those, and then that way, you're guaranteed those teams that are up there and in it every year. Their strength of schedule is going to have a pretty good game on the schedule. Every year.
Every year.
And as a football fan, you're getting exciting games. So it rotates. Now the Big Ten and the Big 12 are doing a matchup. Us and the ACC are doing a matchup.
If
so
they
I get
did
to play a Clemson or an SMU or something like that. That's exciting football.
Okay, if they did something like that, then you got teams like Florida, who plays Florida State every year, or Florida State obviously plays Florida. Would that be a disadvantage to them? Because, hey, we've already got a traditional rival that's not in our league: South Carolina, Clemson, Louisville, Kentucky. So you've got some really Georgia Tech. So you've got some really good rivalries of schools that are not in your league now that you're playing them every year. Plus, you're being the NCAA is going to say, "Oh, hey Georgia, I know you're playing Georgia Tech, who seems to be on the rise, but hey, you're also playing Michigan in Ann Arbor."
I don't really care.
You know.
I'll be honest. Like I understand why they have some of these games. I understand why it helps feed programs and helps like a UTC going to Alabama or a UTC. I know I had a friend who went out to Oregon when they played there. When they do those games, they get paid a lot of money, and I get that. But if I'm just talking about the viewership of an average college fan, I don't want to see 3 cupcakes on a schedule.
I don't either.
Give me one.
And think about
give me one that I can afford to take my son to have a fun noon game, and we're home by 7, and that's great. But I want to sit down on my couch and watch exciting football week in and week out. When we have to play Mercer or when we have to play Tennessee Tech or all those, that Saturday doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, those tickets should almost be like $5 max.
Yeah.
Max. And that's for the fans who that can't afford to go to a Georgia Alabama game. But man, you know what you can do? You can go see Georgia play Mercer. That's your time. You get to go to Sanford Stadium, between the hedges. You get the experience of watching a Georgia game. Yeah, it's not exactly the top-notch, competition, but the experience is still there for the fans.
And see, this is where the expanding conferences has killed this,
I know.
because we could have kept this 8-game schedule. We could have done 8+1, and then you could have had your out of conference rival game and 2 cupcakes. Yeah. And it would have been, but we got greedy and we decided.
Well, they went from 11 to 12 games.
Yeah. So it just, to me, we're moving so fast, and we don't really think about what this affects down the road. I don't know. To me, I want to see exciting football. So if that means cutting out a couple cupcake games, I'm fine with that, because those Saturdays don't feel like normal Saturdays to me.
And we were talking about the playoffs and playing in December. You got one other thing to contend with. It's finals. You got finals going on, and different schools have different schedules. Maybe some schools have their finals earlier in December. Maybe some push it back into the middle of December. That's always an issue there, because not every college has the exact same academic schedule, and that would be a problem there. So that I'm just changing the subject there, but I just got to thinking about the regular season, how important the regular season in college football is. By far the most important regular season. It's the most. Every game matters. It really does.
But okay, you say that, but I'll be honest. This is the first year where I feel like it hasn't. And the reason I say that is when we lost to Ole Miss, I was like, we just have to win next week against Tennessee. And
we're still in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, so
I get you.
If you're a top team, you could afford to lose a couple games, and
you can only afford to lose 2, though.
Yeah, well,
you don't want to lose that.
You
don't want to put it in the hands of selection.
No,
committee.
You don't. But every game technically, it used to, when it was the BCS era, and you had to go undefeated, or you had to be that top, or it was the top 4. Mm-hmm. Now that
BCS was top 2
with expanding, that's the one thing that it does do. It takes away from the regular season, because when we lost, we got our teeth kicked in by Ole Miss. And I'll be honest with you, I went to school fine on Monday, because I said, you know what? Yeah, we just got our butt whooped, but all we got to do is win next week.
I get that. Yes. Maybe not every game counts as much, but you still would like to win every game, because, hey, you know what? If we do have to play in a first-round game, we'd like to play it in Sanford Stadium and not on the road.
Yeah,
you don't want to go to Madison, Wisconsin.
You want to put yourself.
You want to play Wisconsin in Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, you want to put yourself in the best position, especially if they expand those to 2 home games. then you want to be hosting both.
Absolutely.
From a revenue standpoint, from a advantage standpoint, from all of it, you want to be hosting both. So, yes, I agree. It does matter. From a fan feeling, though, if rewind 10 years ago and we lose to Ole Miss the way that we did, I look at it as our season's over. It's officially over.
Yeah, and that's sometimes hard to do then because, our season's over. Oh, yeah, we do have some more games left. And you still watch them. You still watch, and you're rooting hard for them. But it's like, there's no prize at the end of the season. Oh, yeah, we'll go to the, the Citrus Bowl, the Outback Bowl, or whatever, the ReliaQuest Bowl now. And that's a nice little prize, if you want to call it that. But you can't win the national championship.
Yeah.
And listen, we all know there's certain schools out there. When the season kicks off, Vanderbilt knows already they're not going to win a national championship. I don't care what Diego says. He says he came back to Vanderbilt because he wants to win a national championship. Well, listen, Vanderbilt's not winning a national championship. Vanderbilt's goal was to make it to a bowl game. And that's always the goal of certain. So what would you say on average 10, maybe 15 schools realistically have an opportunity to win a national championship, and they know it before the season begins?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that within this playoff era that the national championship winner has been in the AP top poll, like the top 10, every year. Since the playoffs. So like you're a top to those top couple teams in the preseason poll. Then on top of that, I don't know that there's been a national champion ever that if they're not over the blue chip rating, that they've won it. And so the blue chip rating basically is the amount of 4- and 5-star recruits you have on your roster. Those are blue chip recruits. If you don't have, and so Tennessee, fun fact, Tennessee for the first time in a long time is above that blue chip rating. So technically, they're in that conversation. Do they have? To me, the quarterback is the issue. Also,
I'm going to take a guess. I bet the last team that won a national championship that was below that was 1984 BYU.
Probably.
I'll bet you money that was the last one. You weren't even around then.
Nope.
That was so controversial. Everyone and their brother knew that's not the best team. They just had the best record. They actually beat a 6-5 Michigan team in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego to win the national championship. You had Washington, Oklahoma, and other schools like that. You could see they were far superior athletically. They just had stumbled a couple times.
Right. So this is where I want to remind fans before we have to go. We'll throw it over to our friends here in a minute.
Yep.
But college football, even though we're dealing with all of the mess of NIL and all this stuff, we used to decide who won a national championship by paper riders.
Yeah, by riders. Votes.
Like that's how we used to decide who won the national championship.
Kind of like how we do the president.
So you can complain about the 4-team playoff, you can complain about the 12-team playoff, you can complain about the 16 playoff. At the end of the day, they handled it on the field. And you got the result. It wasn't writers who just said, "Yep, this team's the national champion this year." Oh, there's another one that.
We got a split poll in 1990. We got Georgia Tech winning the AP or the UPI, and we got Colorado winning the AP.
Yeah, so
Michigan and Nebraska, they split in 97.
So if you're a younger fan, that's what used to happen. If you're an older fan, remember how annoying that was.
Absolutely. Hey, hope everyone out there enjoyed the show today. Make sure you stay tuned for Finish Line Radio. They follow us here on ESPN Cleveland. We will see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Have a good day.
Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 1013. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
I was like, I cannot believe this is actually happening. You've got a team from the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference, wins a national championship, and they beat 6-5 Michigan in the Holiday Bowl, and Michigan almost beat them. Mm-hmm. It was a fluky win by BYU.
Okay, Simeon's back.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland. Or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. Watching traffic build right on schedule on Highway 58. It's gotten heavier headed out towards the Harrison area, passing Central High School as it builds now on 24 through the Ridge Cut. A little bit of stop and go going on over here at Shallowford right at the interstate. There's been radar today over here, to say the least, on 75 near Shallowford. Be careful in that construction zone.